There's so much food noise out there in the world today that will just leave you confused. In the world of influencers, food industry, trainers, doctors, different cultures, everyone and conflicting nutrition ideas, everyone bombarding you with so many different ideas of what a healthy diet should be like. This is what you should do, this is what you that you know, it can get really, really overwhelming when you're trying to figure out, when you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to feel really good in your body, like which way to go. Like, I want to age well. Even if I do have the perfect body, I want to make sure as I'm aging well, and also just living in America on top of that. The food industry makes it even that much harder to be able to access like good food. First, you don't have to worry just about the food, but the pesticides, the microplastics, the the genetically modified or organic isn't really organic, and oh my god. It's just endless. It's like, what do I choose? What do I you do? Like, how do I know what's right for me? And again, one thing, if you've been watching my other videos, is I will always say that, like, yes, listen to different advice, do different research, but don't just take people's words. I don't care what certifications that they have. Um, Always experiment. You bring yourself to the conversation. You don't let other people completely think for you. You take everything with a grain of salt and then you experiment with yourself. You are your own doctor. No one else lives in your body. No one else gets to experience you except for you. So you need to really become the expert of you, because no matter how great someone else can be at your job when it comes to like helping people find that healthy balance within themselves, you're the ultimate person that is going to be able to detect that, because your body speaks to you. If you slow down enough, if you eat the right food, you create the right environment for your body will speak to you and tell you what it needs. Some people, your stomach can handle a vegan diet, and that's what they need. Some people it's the carnivore diet. Some people it's whatever diet that is out there now, keto, all these different names. But you get to experience, that's the beauty of this. Like, this is not, it doesn't have to be a road of like perfection, and I'm always still constantly learning myself, especially as I get more and more curious and building a somatic even relationship with food, and seeing like over the years, like the way I see food now, um has completely shifted, and it's only going to keep shifting, because as time goes we make more discoveries. But the ultimate person to decide if this works for me is for you to go through the sensory experience of it. And so I would say that like, you know, pick and choose from different things. What works, you keep it. What does not, you drop it. You let it go. And I will tell you that works. As someone who is an immigrant, even outside of like food and dieting and stuff like that, the beauty of being able to have grown up in two different cultures. I came here when I'm Cameroonian. I came here when I was 11, and I grew up in Cameroon for 11 years. Came here still being raised by Cameroonian parents, so like I have had the opportunity of being blended by both different cultures, and I just also have a natural love and interest in learning about other people's cultures and history and all those things. And because of that, it has expanded my worldview on just different things, specifically my own values. There's certain aspects of the American culture that I really love, that I keep, that benefits me. Same thing with Cameroonian culture or different other African cultures. There's certain values in there that I truly that aligns with who I am. It resonates with my soul. And I keep that. And then there are aspects of it that I'm dropping it and I'm letting go. Versus, with the American culture as well. Like I can give an example such as one thing that um here people talk a lot about in American culture is people tend to sugarcoat a lot of things. There's a lot of dancing around certain issues instead of just being like straightforward, like or even giving like constructive criticism. You can't do that anymore without someone feeling having their feelings being hurt, which is a very normal process. But that's one thing I've noticed that can be an issue in American culture where instead of just being straightforward, sometimes you dance around the issue without ever touching on the issue. Versus coming from an African culture where people are very blunt. Like, if you're fat, they'll tell you, like, you're gaining weight, you're fat. Granted, is not, at least a lot of times, it's just a statement or fact, but because of the mental state that you're in, you can absorb it as they're telling me there's something wrong with me. When, like, especially African parents, they're just literally being straightforward, like you're gaining weight, in case you didn't notice that. Or, if you're doing something that is not necessarily productive, or that's just not you, like they're very blunt about like calling you out on those things. And for me, I have, even if I know it hurts my feeling, I do appreciate a certain bluntness, like just tell me what's going on so I can fix that. But I know you cannot say that in certain settings here within the American culture. Vice versa, one thing I'll say is when it comes to even addressing like mental health or like emotions and things like that, I would say the American culture has a better dialogue around that, has is more open and willing to talk about those things versus in African homes or back home in Cameroon where you know it's not something that people are just willingly to be open about. People like to keep things hush hush. When it's evident, everyone knows about it. So it's like that's what I mean by you just start observing different things, learning different things from different cultures, and you decide what you want to keep and then what you want to let go. Whereas, like, for me, I'm learning that by hiding behind like certain issues or thinking that, like, oh, because I'm like because I'm this good student or I always do the right thing, I would never be able to do the wrong thing, versus addressing like what where that's even stemming from. Sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's just something you've learned from your parents, but because your parents are also scared to look at where they played a role in that, now you learn that as well. And so when there's actual family trauma or family issues going on, we just like to brush it off versus being direct and trying to address those issues and not looking at it as I'm telling you you're bad. It's like this this behavior is destructive. This behavior is not healthy, and we can talk about like mental health, how that's important just as much as physical health and things like that. So that's just like a little example that I'm giving to help. I'm hoping this helping paint the picture of like I like the bluntness of African culture, and I like how there's a lot of talk around mental health. Granted, there's always progress that needs to be done, but I got interested in somatic health, mental health, and all this stuff because that's just these were tools that were completely absent from me growing up. And even some of the most intelligent people I know, how zero emotional awareness or how scared they are to face those or make it look like they're weak. But it's like the reason you keep reaching for these vices is because you're not even giving your chance the opportunity to really see yourself and see your humanity, all the positive and negative traits, allowing all of that to come up, working through that, allow going to a therapist or somatic therapist, or even doing your own deep dive work on yourself, how that works in together within itself, or even like with certain cultural beliefs, people just not questioning them and stuff like that, just going with the flow. But anyways, where was I going with this? But anyways, my point is, I am, as someone who is very observant and loves to learn, I have picked and chosen like things that do work for me. And I say do the same thing with when it comes to um your wellness journey, how you want to take care of yourself, how you want to experience your body. And I believe that like nervous system regulation affects every area of your life, whether it's spiritually, mentally, physically, and you start to see how interconnected they are. It's hard to completely separate them. By taking care of one part, you're automatically taking care of the other part. And how in the world filled of different nutritional diets, like become Dora the Explorer, you know, maybe today I'm going to, you don't even have to eliminate anything from your diet yet, but get curious. Like when I eat this ice cream versus when I eat like mushroom soup or something like that, how do I feel? What is my energy level when I start the day with protein and vegetables versus skipping breakfast and drinking coffee? What is my energy level like? Your energy level will never lie to you. Like your body tells you immediately. And that's why I like to use food as one of the ways to regulate your nervous system, because it tells you immediately, like, were the foods that you put in your body, was that regulating or was that dysregulating to your body. Like you get feedback within 30 minutes, 2 hours, 4 hours. And so, and now you can start from that place. Now you can start to now gather your own info and figure out like, what do I like, what don't I like. I've tried vegan diet before. I really did not like it. I didn't like how I felt in it. Versus when I started eating way more protein, I felt even better in my body. And now mixing in vegetables, making sure I start eating vegetables first within like some of my meals, eating the vegetable first and then eating everything else after. It like, I don't get this food coma I usually get, which is easy to get with African food because there's a lot of starch in there. Granted, some of those starch do have the health benefits, but because it's a causes like a glucose spike in you, you start to get like those food coma or the food crash later on. And so yeah, like get curious and figure out like what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and you drop it. Anyways, if you liked this series, um please subscribe, leave your messages, and I will talk to you later.